At 2:43 a.m., Marcus rolled over, turned on the lamp, and saw her, not his wife, her best friend, asleep in his bed. Marcus Hale wasn't flashy. He didn't need to be. At 35, he owned a chain of high-end boutique hotels across the Caribbean and built his fortune from nothing but grit, charm, and sleepless nights. Despite his quiet wealth, he was known for being humble, the kind of man who sent handwritten thank you cards and remembered his staff's birthdays. He married Camille a year ago. Stunning, stylish, and sweet on the surface, she made headlines as the girl who stole Marcus Hale's heart. What they didn't know was that she hadn't fallen for him. She'd fallen for his lifestyle. Only one person knew the truth: Camille's best friend, Brielle. At the start, Brielle had supported the scheme. "He's just another rich guy craving a trophy wife," she'd said. "Might as well enjoy the ride." But she hadn't expected Marcus to be kind. He pampered her, traveled with her, spoiled her with a quiet kind of love that didn't boast, but showed up in the little things. He was patient, real, and watching the way he looked at Camille, the way he gently put his hand on the small of her back when they walked, the way he listened when she spoke, made Brielle feel ashamed. He was nothing like they expected. But Camille? She didn't care. It started with wine. Camille brought it up casually one night over dinner. Brielle's always dreamed of owning her own boutique, something exclusive but affordable. "Do you think you could help her get started?" Marcus barely hesitated. "Of course, send me her business plan." Within weeks, Brielle had a location, a full launch budget, and a marketing team on standby, all funded by Marcus. He even stopped by once to help her set up the shelves, sleeves rolled up and hair dusted in paint. That day, Brielle felt something stir she knew she shouldn't. He believed in her more than anyone ever had: respect and guilt. That night, Camille laughed when Brielle brought up how good Marcus had been. "He's just playing house," Camille said with a shrug. "Let him enjoy the fantasy." Brielle stared at her friend, confused. "You don't think you'll grow to love him?" "Even a little." Camille smiled, cold and certain. "Love is for people who can afford to waste time." "I fell in love with his credit card," she murked. It was supposed to be a shopping day, just the two of them. Camille in a plunging jumpsuit, Brielle in something understated but elegant. Then he showed up. Jackson, leather jacket, motorcycle, trouble dripping from his smirk. He locked eyes with Camille like he already owned her, and she let him. Brielle watched in horror as her friend flirted back, giggling like a teenager. When Camille leaned in to whisper something in his ear, Brielle pulled her aside. "What are you doing? You're married." Camille rolled her eyes. "I'm married, not dead. You have everything with Marcus. What more do you want?" "Thrill," Camille said, grabbing her sunglasses. "Besides, he's always at home. Boring men are easy to fool." Minutes later, she climbed onto Jackson's motorcycle, heels and all, and rode off, leaving Brielle with shopping bags in shock. The affair escalated fast. Hotel meetups, beach rendezvous, weekend girls' trips that were anything but. Jackson became her addiction. Then came the night that changed everything. Camille called, her voice urgent. "Bri, I need you to do me a favor, please." Marcus had planned a rare night in. Dinner, a movie, time together. "I'm supposed to be home. But Jackson invited me to Club Dusk. I have to go." Brielle was silent. "Just sleep in my bed with Marcus. He won't know the difference. I'll sneak in before sunrise." "No. Absolutely not." "Are you crazy?" "Bri, please, you owe me." "No me, no boutique. Remember." Brielle sat on her bed, heart pounding. The thought of lying beside Marcus, of being that close to him, of smelling his cologne, hearing his steady breath, was both terrifying and intoxicating. Against everything in her, she agreed. That night, she wore Camille's silk robe. She slipped into bed. Marcus didn't even turn on the light, just curled beside her and whispered, "Long day?" Brielle nodded silently. He kissed her forehead, and she hated herself. Brielle had begged Camille for weeks. "He's not good for you." She'd pleaded over and over. "You deserve more. Marcus gives you more. He gives you stability, respect, and a future. But Camille didn't want to hear it. Jackson is exciting, she scoffed. I'm too young to settle for boring. He's not boring, Brielle snapped, fed up. He's a good man. But Camille just rolled her eyes, tossed her hair, and laughed like it was all a game. And Brielle kept sleeping in Marcus's bed, every night pretending to be the woman he loved, while silently falling apart inside. More than once, she cried herself to sleep in his arms, not just out of guilt, but because she was falling for him. Helplessly, dangerously, unforgivably falling for him. And Marcus, he'd noticed the changes. Camille had always chewed her nails when she couldn't sleep. Now she didn't. The way Camille cuddles was now different. Even the scent of her perfume was different some nights. He stayed quiet. Until one night at 2:43 a.m., he got up for a glass of water. As he turned on the bedside lamp, he looked over at the figure curled beside him and froze. That wasn't Camille. It was Brielle. Deep asleep, exhaustion written all over her. He leaned in to study her face. His heart slammed in his chest. He said nothing. Instead, he watched. Night after night, he confirmed it. Camille would leave, and hours later, return and switch places with Brielle, until he had enough. That night after the swap, Marcus drew closer to Brielle. He wrapped his arm around her waist. She didn't resist. He pulled her closer, pressed his lips to her neck. She stiffened. He slowly began to unbutton her silk pajama top, his breath warm on her skin. Her breath hitched. She whispered, "No," and tried to shift away, but he continued, kissing the base of her neck. When he pressed his bare chest against her back, she panicked and pulled harder, rolling right off the bed with a thud. "Are you okay?" he asked, flipping on the light and rushing to help her up. She looked up, eyes wide with fear. His voice turned sharp. "What the hell are you doing here, Brielle?" She started crying. "I'm sorry. I didn't want any of this. I tried to stop it." "Stop what?" he demanded. "Where's Camille?" She looked down. "Answer me," he barked. I just... Listen," she stammered. "I didn't do this for me. I did it because I felt guilty. You and Camille gave me the money for my store, my dream. She said I owed her, and I thought if I didn't do what she asked, I'd be ungrateful." Marcus stared at her, his face unreadable. "I respected you so much, Marcus," she whispered. "I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't plan to fall for you." She trailed off, chest heaving, then grabbed her clothes and headed toward the door. "I'm out of here. You two have a lot to talk about." "You're not going anywhere," he said, stopping her. "Not until I get answers. We're waiting for Camille together." He led her downstairs. When she tried to text Camille a warning, Marcus took her phone without a word and placed it face down on the table. He poured 2 glasses of wine. She refused hers. Then he turned off all the lights, and they sat in the dark, waiting. "For the record," he said quietly, "thank you for trying to protect me, even if it was too late." Before she could reply, the growl of a motorcycle echoed outside. The front door creaked open. They stayed in the shadows. Jackson's voice rang out. "You know he's going to find out eventually, right?" Camille giggled. "Then I'll cry and he'll forgive me. He always does." Then the dagger. "At least I don't have to sleep next to him like Brielle does." Marcus flipped the switch. Light flooded the room. Camille froze at the sight of them both. Marcus, I can explain." "Oh, please," he said, calm as ever, sipping his wine. "Explain why I woke up with your best friend in my bed while you were sneaking in with some random man." Camille's face contorted. "Brielle, how could you do this to me?" "She didn't tell me anything," Marcus said coldly. "So I'm waiting to hear it straight from you." Camille burst into tears, scrambling to spin a lie. "Jackson is just a friend. I made a mistake. If you give me one more chance..." "I loved you," Marcus said, voice now trembling with rage. "I gave you everything, and it still wasn't enough." He turned away. I think it's best you leave. I want nothing more to do with you. Marcus, please, she sobbed. I bought you cars, flew you to Paris, paid off your sister's medical bills, gave you a home, and you threw it away for a man you don't even know. Camille looked at Jackson, desperate. Can I stay with you at least? Jackson blinked. Yeah, no. I wasn't looking for all this drama. This was fun while it lasted. And with that, he turned and walked right out the door. Camille turned back to Brielle. Fine, I'll live with you. Let's go. Brielle narrowed her eyes. Are you asking me or telling me? If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even have your stupid boutique, Camille screamed. Everything you own is because of me. That store, mine. Let's go. Actually, Marcus cut in, my money funded that boutique. Not a dime of it was yours. You don't own a thing. Brielle sighed. You can stay with me. Temporarily. But after that, we go our separate ways. I don't want to be associated with you anymore. Marcus looked at her. Stay here. What? Camille gasped. She's my best friend, she said. She's the only one who saw me, respected me, loved me, even when she knew she couldn't have me. He replied. He turned to Brielle. What do you say? Brielle hesitated. Camille started to talk again. Brielle looked Camille dead in the eye. Shut up, she snapped. I told you not to do this. I begged you. Marcus is a good man and you never saw it. But I did. So yes, I'll stay. But I don't date married men. We don't start anything until your divorce is final. Marcus smiled genuinely. Camille stood silent, alone. For the first time in her life, the game wasn't fun anymore. Camille stood frozen in the center of the living room, mascara streaked and mouth slightly open. For once, she had no comeback, no performance, no way to talk her way out. Marcus looked right through her. Get your things. You'll be gone by morning. No, wait, Marcus, you can't mean that. I meant every word. She turned to Brielle. You're really going to do this to me? We've been best friends since high school. I still love you, Camille, but you stopped being my friend the moment you used me as a pawn, Brielle said flatly. I gave you everything. No, Marcus interrupted. I gave her everything. You gave her guilt. There's a difference. Camille's face twisted in rage, but no one flinched. She stormed out to pack, slamming every drawer she could find along the way. It was quiet for weeks. The divorce papers were served. Camille refused to sign at first, threatened to expose secrets she didn't have, tried to play the victim in the media. But Marcus was prepared. His legal team made it clear the prenup was airtight. No assets, no settlement, no voice. Eventually she signed and disappeared, but the damage lingered. Marcus kept his distance from Brielle, not out of anger, but restraint. They lived under the same roof, a silent agreement in place. She helped around the house. He kept to his office. Some nights they passed each other in the kitchen like strangers, but every now and then they'd meet eyes for just a second too long. It was raining the night it all cracked open. Marcus came home soaked, his shirt clinging to him, hair dripping. Brielle handed him a towel without a word. You ever think about what would have happened if you said no that night? He asked. To what? To sleeping in her place. She looked down. Every single day. He stepped closer. I didn't fall for you in one night, she said. It happened slowly, in the silences. Tears pricked her eyes. I didn't want you, she whispered. You were hers. He shook his head. I was never hers, not really. And then he kissed her, soft, gentle, careful, like he was afraid she'd disappear if he blinked. I want to build a life where no one ever has to pretend again. Not you, not me. Brielle smiled, tears in her eyes. I'm all in, but this time, she teased, I get the left side of the bed. And that was the beginning of their happy lives, just two people who found each other in the wreckage. Betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it wears your perfume, knows your secrets. Sometimes it smiles from across the dinner table and says, I love you. But healing, that comes from truth, from the courage to let go of what hurt you and reach for what sees you, values you, chooses you, even in the wreckage. Did Brielle make the right choice? Tell us. Whose team are you on? Are you Team Brielle, Team Camille, or Team Marcus? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because with drama like this, you don't want to miss a single episode.